Uh, so let us start the class now. Please note down the heading business. Yeah, okay. Yeah, please note down the heading business data analytics. Here, very important. It's a new subject. Here, it's a completely new subject and a very important subject for you in along with financial management. Heading should be business data analytics. Here, heading should be business data analytics, which is there for 20 marks. A very important concept, not only at CMA inter level, same subject you will have at CMA final level also now for 100 marks. This is just the introduction to the subject what we are going to study. A very important subject. I hope you know you have to do SAPCA training. Yeah, so this subject will help you in understanding the SAPCA training what you take online. In addition to that, this subject will also be there in CMA final for 100 marks. Now, business data analytics for 20 marks. Today, majority of the businesses, not majority, almost every business is managing their activities using a software. And software there is a lot of data being generated. Like let us take an example of Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy. Almost every person is using these apps. So it generates a lot of data. Now I want to analyze this data and take a decision. Like let us say, for example, simple example of Flipkart. Sir, Flipkart is having Big Billion Days. Big Billion Days from almost last 10 years. From last 10 years, Big Billion Days is being introduced by Flipkart, and on an average 4 times a year they have their sales. It means in last 10 years 40 times they have the sales. The average sale what they get there is somewhere between 1500 to 2000 crores in every sale. 1500 to 2000 crores worth of sale will be there on an average every time there is a sale in Flipkart. Now, there might be millions of people who will be buying and selling goods during this sale. Now, Flipkart wants to have a sale in, let us say, for example, in the month of April 2023, it wants to have a sale. But it has no idea which product pay sale should be there, which product pay sale should not be there, which product pay more discount should be given, which product pay less discount should be given, which product should be offered for sale, which product should not be offered for sale. To take a decision, it just blindly cannot start giving discounts on mobile phones and no discounts on televisions. What it has to do, it has to analyze last 10 years ka data. Last 10 years and 40 times ka data, it has to analyze and decide which product pay sale was offered and people purchase more. Which product pay sale was offered but people did not purchase more. Which product pay sale was not given but people were expecting sales. All this data I have to analyze and then take a decision regarding my April 2023 ka Big Billion Days. So there will be small quantities of data or huge quantities of data. Huge quantities of data. Can a human being analyze such huge quantities of data, or we require a software? That software is called data analytics. The software what we use for analyzing just huge quantities of data is called as data analytics. So in simple words, what is Flipkart doing here? It is using present data or historical data. When? Present. To decide about future. So data analytics say what I can do, I will analyze present data or historical data. When do I analyze that? Present. To take decisions about future. So data analytics so what exactly do we mean by data analytics? Analyzing small quantities or huge quantities? Analyze huge quantities of data. Huge quantity of data which can be processed by human beings or cannot be processed. Which cannot be processed by human beings. Clear? So I am analyzing so huge quantities of data which a human being cannot analyze. It is practically impossible for a human being to analyze. And when I talk about huge quantities of data, this is technically called as big data. This is technically called as big data. So whenever we talk about data analytics, we are using small quantities of data or huge quantities of data. These huge quantities of data is technically called as what? Is technically called as big data. That big data can human being process? No. We require what? Softwares. That software is called what? Data analytics. So basically, whenever we talk about data analytics, before understanding data analytics, let us understand two things. One is data, second one is information. See, material will be given to you, print out by Lakshya, and I will also give you the running notes. So whatever I'm writing on the screen, that running notes, if you write in exam, more than enough. Need not go through the complete material. So whatever notes I'm writing on the screen, I expect you also note it down simultaneously because it will save our time. So what do we mean by data analytics? In simple words, if I talk about data analytics, I'm analyzing what quantities of data? Huge quantities of data, which cannot be analyzed or processed or understood by whom? Human beings. Practically impossible. Like I gave one example of Flipkart. Second example, let us take stock market. I want to invest, clear, I want to invest 1 crore rupees in stock market. Am I a small investor or a big investor? Big investor. As a big investor, I have, let us say there are more than 5,000 companies in stock market. NSE, BSE mein, there are more than 5,000 companies which are listed. Out of those 5,000 companies, I want to invest in 50 companies. If last 5,000 companies say, first I want to analyze all 5,000 companies and I want to decide which is the first 50 best companies for me. But how do I analyze? Just by taking 1 year ka financials or last 10-15 years? Imagine 5,000 companies ka 10 years ka financial, it means more than 50,000 financial statements I have to analyze and then shortlist how many companies? 50 companies. Can a human being do this? Then again, I need human beings or software. That is huge quantities or small quantities. That huge quantities is called what? Big data. Big data is processed by human beings or data analysis techniques. Clear? No. But sir, to analyze, but to further go and understand data analytics, two things are very important. One is data, second one is information. Sir, something which is useless, something which is useless and irrelevant. Something which is useless and irrelevant is called as data. Something which is useful plus relevant is called as information. Clear? I repeat, something which is useless and irrelevant is called as data. Something which is useful for me, something which is relevant for me is called as information. Clear? Sir, using data, I cannot take any decisions. Decisions cannot be made. Cannot be made. I cannot make any decision using data. But using information, I can make decisions. Using informations, decisions can be made. Decision can be made. Clear? So using data, can I, since data is useless, since data is irrelevant, can it help me in decision making? No. But what is useful and relevant for me? Information. Can I use information in decision making? Yes. Like let us say, for example, my client has come to my office and he gave me, clear, he gave me one LIC policy, clear, one piece of paper, LIC policy. He gave me 2-3 bank statements, like ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, like that. He gave me 1 year ka 3 bank statements. He gave me some TDS ka certificates. Like that, he gave me some 10-15 pieces of paper. Using this 10-15 pieces of paper, can I take a decision? No. Can I take a decision using these 10-15 pieces of paper? No. So these 10-15 pieces of paper are called what for me? Data. Useless irrelevant. I cannot take any decisions. Now what do? I enter all this data in a software. I hope you might have heard about Tally. I enter all this data in software, example Tally. Now what will Tally do? Using this data, Tally will prepare P&L account, balance sheet. P&L account may it will show me profit. Based on this profit, can I decide how much tax to be paid by my client? Matlab, now tell, is the P&L account balance sheet prepared by my Tally software? Is it useful for me to take a decision? So is that information or data? So these pieces of paper are data. But the P&L account balance sheet prepared by my software is an example of information. Matlab, whenever data is given to me, will I use data as it is or will I convert into information? So data ko I have to convert into information, right? Data ko I have to convert into information. This technique is called processing. This technique is called processing. So who converts data to information? Processing. Who processes the data? Human being or software? Software. In our example, what did I told? Tally. You can use any software. So point number one, what is data, sir? Something which is useful or useless? Relevant or irrelevant? Irrelevant. Can I take decisions using this? No. But once I process the data using a software, it will become what? Information. Now let us take a small example here. Let us take some other example to make it very simple. We'll take an example of makemytrip.com. I want to travel from Hyderabad to Delhi or Hyderabad to Mumbai. So by default, Delhi to Bangalore. I want to travel from Delhi to Bangalore. I have multiple options here. I have option number one, flight. Option number two, I have train. Option number three, I have bus. Option number four, I have cab. Now I decided to travel from Delhi to Bangalore by flight. Whatever things available related to flight on this website are what for me? Are they relevant? Are they useful for me? Flight ka timing, flight ka number, flight ka name, flight ka company, all these things are useful for me or useless? Relevant or irrelevant? So flight se related things available on Make My Trip for me is what? Am I traveling by train, bus or cab? So anything related to these three things, is it useful for me? No. Is it relevant for me? So that becomes data. Now, while coming from Bangalore to Delhi, I decide to come by train. While coming from Bangalore to Delhi, return, I decide to travel by train. Now tell, train related things are, I decide to travel from Bangalore to Delhi back through train. So train related things will become, now tell, when I was traveling from Delhi to Bangalore, what was information? Flight. When I'm traveling from Bangalore to Delhi, flight related things have become data. Train related things have become, matlab, data will remain data or it can convert to information. Information will remain information or it can convert to data. So data can convert to information. Information can also convert to data depending upon situation to situation. Clear? Now when I'm giving you running notes, I asked you not to use material given by Lakshya. So if you study from my notes, what I'm giving in class, so my notes will become information because it is useful and relevant. Their material will become, because it is, I cannot tell because it is recording. You have to tell. It will become, okay. Now, institute material also you have. ICMAI ka material. So my notes is information because it is relevant and institute material given by ICMAI. Why? Because it is useless and irrelevant. Don't write that example in exam. Write Make My Trip ka example. Don't write faculty ka notes, information because it is useful and relevant. Institute material data because it is useless and irrelevant. So example of Make My Trip you write, that is an example of One more example I can give. Right now you are into which level? Foundation, inter or final? Intermediate. So intermediate ka materials issued by ICAI. Information or data? Information. Information. Foundation ka materials available with institute and final ka materials available with institute. Data. Once you move from inter to final, final ka materials will become, intermediate ka materials will become data. So can data convert to information? Can information convert to data? Depending upon situation to situation. Clear? That also I'll write here. Data can convert into information and vice versa. Here, data can convert into information and information can convert into data, vice versa. Here. So point number one, we studied what is data, what is information. I told you something which is useless, something which is irrelevant, because of which I cannot make any decision. That is called what? Data. So something which is useful, something which is relevant, using which I can take business decisions. Then it is called as, okay. Can I rewrite something like this? Unprocessed information is called what? Data. I can also write like this. Unprocessed information is called as data. Information is called as data. And processed information, processed data is called as information. Do you agree? Unprocessed information is called as data. Processed data is called as information. So something which is raw data, something I can say something which is like a raw material data, something which is finished goods. Raw material say, can I do anything? No. But can I use finished goods? Yes. So data ko who will convert into information? Processing. So before processing, information will be processed or unprocessed. So unprocessed information is called data. After processing, data will become processed. So processed data is called as information. And whenever we talk about data, I can classify the data into two types. I can classify the data into two types. Here, one is master data. Second one is non-master data. Non-master data. Clear? So unless and until, see, we will divide this introduction into two parts. First, we will understand data, then we will understand analytics, then we will understand what is data analytics. So data, I can classify into two types. Many students will get confused here in MCQs. Types of data are different. Classification of data is different. I can classify the data only and only into two types. But there are many types of data. Types of data are many, but classification of data is only two. All types of data ko I can classify into how many types? Two types. What are those? Master data, non-master data. Sir, non-master data is also called as transaction data. Non-master data is also called as what? Transaction data. But what exactly do we mean by master data and non-master data? Sir, a data which very rarely changes or does not change. I repeat, data which very rarely changes or does not change is an example of master data. So data which keeps changing regularly, non-master data. Clear? So master data means data which rarely or never changes. Clear? Data which very rarely changes or never changes is an example of master data. Data which keeps changing, is an example of what? Is an example of non-master data. Let us take some examples. Here, let us see some examples. In a company, employee ka name. Let us take an example of company. Like let us say there is XYZ Limited. अब ये कंपनी में I will tell you employee related to employee name. Employee name. You tell me whether it is master data or non-master data. It is master data. How many of you keep changing your name every day in records? I'm not talking you're giving your name to yourself. In records, will you keep changing your name or very rarely changes? Or you never change? So employee name is an example of master data. Employee name is an example of master data. Sir, employee ka designation. Here, employee ka designation. Matlab, there are 3 levels in management. SMA you might have studied, right? Strategic management. But there are how many levels? 3. Lower level, middle level, top level. I join in which level of management? Lower level. Then I will move up to, matlab designation of an employee will remain same or it will change. So employee designation is an example of non-master data. Non-master data. Next. 2 examples related to employees we have seen. Like let us take an example of costing. Stock, clear? Stock items. Stock items. Or rather than items, we can write stock groups. Clear? Stock groups. Otherwise, meaning will be different. Now, stock groups. So what is a stock group? All similar stock items will be considered as one group. Like let us say, for example, when you go to a supermarket, all electronic items will be considered as what? Group 1. All food items, group 2. All processed items, group 3. All soft drinks, group 4. So every item, like let us say, for example, does electronic item come under FMCG goods or electronic goods? Till when? Lifetime. It will never change. So stock group will change or it will remain same? It will remain same. So all FMCG goods will come under one group. They won't come under electronic group. All electronic groups items will obviously come under electronics only. So stock group is an example of master data. Master data. Now let us take one example of accounts. Accounts में voucher number. Voucher number. Fee receipt पे fee number, fee receipt का number will be there. That is an example of voucher number. Voucher number will remain same or it will keep changing? It will keep changing. For everyone, receipt number will be same or different? Different. So voucher number is an example of non-master data. Non-master data. Clear? So something which keeps changing regularly, non-master data, also called as transaction data. Something which very rarely changes or never changes is an example of master data. Okay, some more examples. Tax में section number and section name, master data, very rarely changes or do not change. But sir, section का provision, it keeps changing every year when budget comes. Not all sections, at least some sections where provisions will change. So that is why that will be an example of employee का blood group, master data. Employee का bank account details, master data. Clear? Next. Then again, accounts में accounting transaction, non-master data, because transactions keep changing. Clear? So understood what is the difference between master and non-master data? There are one types of data or multiple types of data. Sir, this multiple types of data ko I will divide into how many parts? Classify into how many parts? Master and non-master. Very rarely or does not change? Keeps changing? Non-master data. Understood the concept of data? Now, in general, today business people are using human beings or softwares. Accounting is nowadays being done by software. Marketing is now being done by software. Have you seen advertisements when you're opening Facebook or Instagram sponsored? Sponsored बोल के some ads will come. Who is doing that advertisements? Human beings or softwares? Softwares. Sir, marketing is done by software. Accounting is done by software. Costing is done by software. Almost every business activity is today being done by software. And software generates small quantities of data or huge quantities of data. These huge quantities of data if I want to process, do I need human beings or softwares? Which type of software? Data analytics. So now question comes, what is data analytics? That is point number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point number 5. What is data analytics? Sir, data analytics, I told you, uses what? Uses which data? Historical data. When, sir? In present, to help clear, to take which decisions? To take future business decisions. To take future business decisions. To take future business decisions. Sir, future is certain or uncertain? If I want to reduce the uncertainty, of my future, do I need to plan now only? But to plan now, I need what? Data. Present data or historical data? Analysis cannot be performed on present data. Analysis will be always performed on historical data. Using historical data, I am taking decision today, but about what? Future. Example I told, Flipkart is one example. Flipkart can use data analytics. Amazon can use data analytics. One more example I told you relating to uh, stock market. One more practical example, like when you go to fast food chains like Domino's, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, there they ask you your name and contact number. Whenever, like, why are they asking you contact number? Do they keep disturbing you by calling you? No. Whenever there is some offer going on in that particular restaurant, will you receive a message? And everyone will get the same offer or different offer? Say different offer. It all depends upon your purchase. Like let us say Zomato. Like you are using Zomato on an average every day 2 times. You are using Zomato monthly once. So who is a regular customer of Zomato? You or you? You're a regular customer. So who will get more discounts on Zomato? You. Who will get less discounts? You. Every day morning, I receive one message from Zomato. Now also, Evandi, tiffin cheshara. Zomato is like girlfriend. Every day morning she will message you. Tiffin idli order cheyandi, flat 50% off up to 125 rupees. I'll keep receiving. Don't give the expressions what your parents will give when you were born. You will give. So now, Zomato will keep sending messages. Swiggy will keep sending messages. But how is now everyone will not get same discount on Zomato. Everyone will not get same offers on Swiggy. How is Swiggy and Zomato deciding how much discount should be given to you? How much discount should be given to me? By analyzing your data and my data separately. That huge quantities of data, how they analyze? Using which technique? Data analysis techniques. Here, so what does data analytics do? It uses historical data when, sir, in present to take future business decisions. That is why we call it as business data analytics. Why? Because data is analyzed by people like you and me or business people. Business people. Now question comes, we have already studied data, we have already studied information. But what question comes, what exactly do we mean by knowledge? Business made data is also important, information is also important, knowledge is also important. Is data useful or useless? Information useful or useless? Useful. When I'm using this information, I repeat, when I'm using this information, I'm using this information to take some decisions. Then it becomes what? In simple words, I can say knowledge means practical application of information. Practical application of information in decision making. Decision making. Here, practical application of information in decision making is called what? Is called as knowledge. We have material data. We understood the material information. After understanding the notes, you're actually writing something and clearing the examination. Then it is called as knowledge. So everyone has data, But everyone cannot understand data. Those who understand data have what? Information. But everyone having information will not be successful. Everyone is having the material. Every student is having the material data. Let us say there are 100 students. There are, let us say, institute has registered, let us say, 1 lakh students. Institute has registered 1 lakh students for CMA Inter throughout the country. And they have issued materials to them. What is this called? Data. Out of this 1 lakh people, around 80,000 people have understood institute ka material. Then these 80,000 students have what? Information. Out of these 80,000 students, 50,000 students have cleared examinations. Then these people are said to have what? Knowledge. So having information is more important or applying information is more important? Majority of you will have information, but using that information in decision making is called what? Like one more example, stock market. I don't know whether you like go through this news or not. Adani. Due to some report, Adani ka like some frauds are happening in the company bolke, one Hindenburg ka report has come, because of which 30% fall in Adani Enterprises ka share. 30% fall in just one day. Billions of rupees he lost. He was in top 5 richest people in the world. He is not even in top 10 today. Just within a day, his market value fell by, his company ka market value fell by 30%. Now all people, why? People after seeing that report started buying the shares or selling the shares? Selling the shares. But at this point of time, I purchased the shares. I purchased the shares because always remember, when people panic, you buy. Stock market, there is a rule. When people panic and start selling, you buy. Now imagine, even if shares go up by 10% also, will I be in profits? Enough. I will sell off and book my profits and come back. In case if it falls by 30%, let us say it falls by another 10%, I will be at a loss. But at the end of the day, what am I having here? Based on some information, did I buy and sell the shares in stock market? That is called what? Knowledge. If price goes up by 10%, whatever knowledge I have was good knowledge. In case if the stock market may price falls by 10%, my knowledge was having a positive impact or negative impact. So your knowledge may have a positive impact on your business also. Your knowledge may have a negative impact on your business also. If it is having a negative impact, then it is called as risk. I repeat, if a knowledge has a negative impact on business, it is called what? Risk. And risk will have a positive impact or negative impact on business. So if knowledge has negative impact on business, then it is called as what? Risk. Should I try to increase the risk of my business or decrease the risk of my business? I should try to decrease the risk of my business. But how do I decrease the risk of my business? Using a human being or again using a software? Who can take better decisions, human being or software? Software. Who is more consistent, human beings or software? Software. Who takes better quality decisions, human beings or softwares? So today, human beings are being slowly replaced by whom? Softwares. Now question comes, we have already discussed classification of data. But there are how many types of data? One or many types. But what are those? That is our point number 7. Types of data. Types of data. Here, types of data. Types of data, clear, types of data ko I will divide into 2 types. Clear? One is general. In general, what are the types of data? In finance, or you can say costing, types of data. In general, what are the types of data we have? In finance, what are the types of data we have? This is very important for 2 marks. Clear? So point number 1 to 6, whatever introduction I've discussed, that is important for multiple choice questions. Point number 1 to 6, whatever I've discussed, introduction part that is important for multiple choice. This types of data what I'm discussing is important for theory 2 marks. Either you'll get 2 marks questions or 3 marks questions, not beyond that. In general, we can say we have 2 types of data. Since today's introduction class, I'm just writing the introduction points. From tomorrow, when my main class starts, I will tell you how to present the answers in exam also. Because presentation is very important in theory papers. In general, we have 2 types of data, numerical data and descriptive data. Descriptive data. Here, numerical data, descriptive data. In finance or costing, or you can say in finance field, we have 2 types of data, quantitative data and qualitative data. Qualitative data. Here, in general, we have how many types of data? 2 types, numerical data, descriptive data. In finance and costing, how many types of data we have? Quantitative data and qualitative data. Like numerical data, I hope you know, it is expressed in numbers. Expressed in numbers. Expressed in numbers. And descriptive data can be expressed here, expressed in the form of text, audio, video, etc. Here, something which is expressed in the form of text, audio, video, etc. is called what? Is called as descriptive data. Like let us say your contact numbers are examples of numerical data. Your contact numbers are examples of numerical data. Like when you fill up, like you might have filled a form in Lakshya at the time of joining. There you have written your PIN code. Address may PIN code you might have written. Along with that, age they might have asked. Along with date of birth they might have asked. Along with that, contact number they might have asked. These are called what type of data? Numerical data. Your name, your address other than PIN code, your father's name, your school name, whatever they have asked. They are all examples of what? Descriptive data. They all come under what? Text. My voice is an example of audio data. And the recording which is going on is example of when I go to home screen and when I open some app, some animations are coming. Are you seeing some animations? This is called graphical data. Here, this is called what? Graphical data. Somewhere note down. Numerical and descriptive data. Numerical and, or you can say both above types of data. Both the above types of data can be expressed in graphs, animations, etc. Then it is called what? Graphical data. Then it is called what? Graphical data. Like whatever data I'm having, maybe numbers or maybe text or maybe audio or video, whatever type of data I have, can I express it in the form of some graphics, some images, some animations? If I clear, if numerical or descriptive data, I repeat, if numerical or descriptive data is given in the form of graphs or some graphics or some animations, then same data we call it as what? Graphical data. Rather than calling it numerical or descriptive, we call it as what? Graphical data. This is in general. Now, with finance and costing, again we have how many types of data? Quantitative data is nothing but numerical data. So numerical data, I repeat, numerical data in finance and costing is called what? Quantitative data. And descriptive data is called as what? Descriptive data in finance or costing is called what? Qualitative data. But don't write like this in exam, right? Quantitative data is expressed in numbers. For example, numerical data. Qualitative data is expressed in the form of text, audio, or video. For example, descriptive data. Okay. So now if they ask you both, same thing you write again and again and again. So numerical data and quantitative data, same or different? Same, but only in general we call it as numerical data. In finance, like in your CA, CMA, CS field, we call it as quantitative data. So descriptive data, we call it in general, everyone calls, but in finance ke area mein we call it as what? Qualitative data. Again, quantitative and qualitative data, can I present in the form of a graph or animation, or you can say some graphics? Then same quantitative and qualitative data will be called as graphical data. So meaning is same, only the terminology what we use is different. Understood the introduction to data? Balance we will continue in tomorrow's class.